Hi everyone, we got this old Creeder tumble dryer here. There's a fault with it. We weren't quite sure what it was. It would run for a couple of minutes. As it's starting to get hot, then it would trip the breaker. Now it was tripping the breaker as what I call an overcurrent fault rather than a neutral to earth fault. And it was popping it, and then it would run, it would reset, then it would trip again. So we stripped it down and just had a look, which I'll take you through now. And I didn't really know what the fault was, but I just had a look, and I think people don't do this enough. You just need to take things apart. If it's broken anyway, take things apart, see if you can find something that just doesn't look quite right. You never know what you're going to find. And I didn't know what was wrong with this. I just knew it didn't work. I knew what was happening, and then when it stopped, but I didn't piece all the things together. And then I've seen something which doesn't look quite right, and then it kind of made sense. So I'll take you through how I took the lid off, how I took the back off, and where I got to and stopped. And then the bit I've got to change is just by here. It's a thermostat we think is the issue, and then there's a thermal fuse there too. I'll explain the difference. And then I will show you how to change them, and then we'll start it up and see if it runs, and if not, it's going to the skip. So follow on. So there are some screws, just these little self-tapping screws, which were just across the back here and on these corners. And then you just take that off, and then you pop the lid off, and then you can see inside. So I couldn't really see a lot down there. There was nothing that looked untoward. There's a belt there, which is obviously the drive. So I came down and I took this cover off here, which again is just self-tapping screws. Actually, Charlie, my 3-year-old, got hold of the drill and he took that off. So it's pretty straightforward. All these screws here. We pulled it off, and then you can see what's going on. So we've got the big fan here, the heating element, some wires, and that's where the power comes in. And then to the heating element, there are some other wires where I found this little thing here, and I didn't quite know what it was. If you notice really carefully on the back, it's been shorting, or it's been burning out. There's a bit of electrical burn. I could smell that when it was tripping. So I had a look at this, and I think, right, it's overheating. What is it? I had a quick look, and I figured out. I did a bit of googling, and it was actually a thermostat. So this is the thermostat, and then this is the thermal fuse. So we've got this little thermostat, which we think is the problem. The thermostat was next to the thermal fuse. We're going to change both today. The difference between them is the thermostat will control the heating element. So as the element is on, it'll get up to temperature. The thermostat will then cut the power to the element, the heating element, so it'll cool down. As it reaches a certain threshold, then it'll kick back in and heat up, just like the thermostat on your car or your heating. The thermal fuse means when it gets to a set temperature, it's got to that temperature, it's because the thermostat has failed probably, and then it will cut out, and that is like a fuse. It can't be reset, so it must be replaced. And obviously you need to have a look about why it's got to that temperature. So that's a big safety thing. So I'm just going to run you through putting it back together really, and we'll see if it works. So I was just fitting the thermostats, and I was just wondering, how do you know which one goes where? Because they both look pretty similar. If I just show you that, they are, I was thinking, well, they both look the same, but actually you can tell because the terminals are left and right on this one, and then the top and bottom on that one. And I mean, interestingly enough, I had a look on YouTube, and I looked at some just a bit of some data sheets of like standard T24 thermal cutouts, and you can actually figure out, based on the size of the base, the distance between the screw holes, etc., the temperature you need it to cut out at, whether it needs to be normally open or normally closed. You can find all that information out, and you can order it. So these actually only cost me like £5 off eBay, but some websites were charging upwards of £25 each. The other really important thing was to take care of the insulator, which is just underneath that it's mounted on, the white insulator, because again, some websites were charging £13. So if you end up on that website, for instance, needing 2 insulators, and you buy, you know, a thermal cutout and a thermostat, you could easily end up, you know, £27.54 plus 26, you could end up with £70. So just be careful. £5 or £6 off eBay, you know, just try and order the right bits and see what you can do. So we're just going to put it back together, screw it all up, and then give it a run. So everything's screwed up, we plugged it back in. Obviously I forgot to mention that before you obviously do any work, just make sure you unplug it. So we plugged it back in, giving it a bit of a workout with some towels in there, and we're just waiting to see. Tick-tock, come back in 5 minutes, we'll see if it is tripped. So the dryer's been on for about 40 minutes now, no problems, no issues. So that was definitely the fault. Really pleased we fixed it for only £6. We're about to drop like £600 or £700 on a new dryer, albeit it would be energy efficient. We're supposed to be moving house soon. We don't exactly know what will be there when we get there, etc. So for £6, and we're back on the road. It's great. So just to recap, if you've got a fault, the tumble dryer's tripping out or it's not getting hot enough, it's likely to be a thermostat issue. I'm no appliance repair technician, so it's just from my experience what I'm telling you and what I've read. So just have a look and have a think and try and be a bit methodical and think about how things will work. You can apply this, you know, sort of thing for anything. I believe it's the same with, this is an old vented dryer, but it's the same with a condenser dryer. I don't obviously know about the new heat pump sort of technology, but if it's been helpful, please hit the like button and have a look, see if there's anything else you want to watch. Take care.